worlds. He is an incredibly decorated Olympian along with Tessa Virtue. Please welcome Scott Moir to London Live. Scott, how are things?
Yeah, things are great. Thank you so much for having me on here.
Hey, well, thanks for being here. When you
What
walk
do I
outside, can
say?
you
Do
get
I
that?
say first time, long time? Is that what I'm? Or, maybe it's. I always
You
wanted to say
can.
that.
Okay, if you want to be first time, long time,
I
yeah.
think
You
it's
know what?
actually not my first time, so second or third time, but still a long time, Mike.
I still remember when you and Tessa were, I think Tessa was 7 and you were 9, and we sat down to have a chat. That's going back a ways.
Yeah, I would like to know the betting odds that you would have placed on those two kids going to skating for 22 years and three different Olympic games. I don't think they would have been that strong. I think at the Ilderton Skating Club where we got our start, there was more laughing at us than with us during those days. But
Come on.
yeah.
You had you had
That was
coaches
good.
and you had people like your parents who were saying, no, there's something special here, and it ended up that there was something incredibly special. When did you two actually start to think, maybe there is something here?
Good question. But I don't know if I really know the answer. I mean, the scary thing for Tessa, I think, more so is that she doesn't even remember her life without me, really. And in the beginning stages of our career, the goal was, especially for me, I mean, there was this little girl who waltzed into the Ilderton Skating Club, and all of a sudden her axle was bigger than mine, and she was 2 years younger than me, and she could skate faster and dance better and remember steps. So I think for the first 2 or 3 years of skating together, I didn't think that we were on the same team. I was literally trying to compete against her and not be embarrassed. And when I finally put it together that, we're in the same team here and this is a positive, that's kind of when we started to have some pretty early success. And I joke, but we were lucky to have some coaches that were able to bring the best out of us and believe in us. And I mean, skating always clicked with Tessa and I. And I think as much as I do love the sport of ice dance, it was all about the connection Tessa and I had. And we were in sync. There's not much of a different way to say it. We always had the same goals. We always wanted to win. We always wanted to be the best that we could be, and we always respected and were each other's biggest fans. And now looking back, we kind of realized just how fortunate we were. But I mean, that was just our life. We never really had it any other way.
Scott Moir joining us on London Live. Well, the two of you grew from being those two at the Ilderton Skating Club and being partners, and then all of a sudden being two people who, when the world looked and saw your faces, they knew Canada. That you became those Canadian icons, those Canadian faces. Do you still feel that, or did you ever feel that? Is that something just the rest of us, the fans, feel?
That's a good question. I don't. I always saw that as such a compliment. Even when people would say, kind of jokingly, "Oh, you're so Canadian," I even saw that as, "You're damn right, I am." That was such a compliment for both Tessa and I, and obviously. There was a great deal of pride. I remember one of our first coaches, Paul McIntosh, one of the things that he used to do is give us these little Canadian flags, and we would put them on the heel of our skates. And so wherever we went, people would know that we were Canadian. I think at some level he instilled that in us to really be grateful for, the opportunities that we have, but what Canada stands for, and hearing Canada behind our name. And we said that at the end of our career, and being able to walk into an opening ceremony at the Olympic Games carrying the flag is probably one of the biggest honors of our lives. But, that never got old. I can say that. And that we never took that for granted. And even still, I mean, just to be able to see that flag. And I just started wearing all my Olympic gear again. I think I'm missing the Olympics, with Tokyo not going last year and Beijing just around the corner. I've kind of started to embrace all the opportunities and as I said, really not taking it for granted that we're able to represent this great country on a global scale.
You mentioned being the flag bearers. What are the emotions when you're waiting? Because we see the parade of athletes and everybody's in step and everybody's waving and smiling, but in behind before you come out, everybody's kind of grouped together. What are the emotions you feel? Are there nerves knowing you have to carry the flag? Do you worry that something might happen, or is it just all excitement and elation?
Yeah, I don't. That's a good question. I don't know. I knew I had confidence. I didn't have nerves because we knew that Tess was going to carry the flag or the holster, and I was going to be there with her. And I think we actually both kind of carried it together. So in my mind, I didn't have a lot of nerves. But I will say one of the greatest, accomplishments of our career was to just be a part of the Olympic team. And that's when it became real for me. Like I never felt like an Olympian per se until I looked around and saw who I was colleagues with. Mick Kingsbury, Patrick Chance, like all these fantastic, Rebecca Johnson, all these great Olympians. And looking behind me and seeing their faces and knowing that we were walking in together. I mean, that was more the overwhelming feeling. I can't believe that we got picked to stand out in that group. But then I would look over at Tessa, and it made sense. For me to carry the flag didn't make sense, but for T, it made perfect sense. Who else would do it? So I think that was kind of the idea of walking in and the feeling of walking in the Olympics. And there was really 40 athletes that could have carried that flag in, and we were such a very, very close Olympic team. And I think that grew exponentially every games we went to together. It started with Own the Podium and, trying to change the mindset of Canadian athletes in Vancouver, going into Sochi, where actually figure skating, we didn't have that great of a games. And then kind of going back in to conquer the world in Pyeongchang. And we just kind of grew these relationships, and we relied on each other in all different sports. Curling, hockey, speed skating, downhill skiing. We just had these relationships, and kudos to the COC and different corporations like B210 for getting us together so we could rely on each other, and we were a true team. So walking in and representing Canada, but also being a part of that group is, it's just such a huge honor, and I get goosebumps thinking about it. Also, a little bit of sadness, thinking about Beijing and. Our time as athletes has passed, but looking forward, I think it will be a very, very sweet moment to watch this next generation of athletes, starting their own Olympic experience and remember just how fortunate we were to have three of our own.
Scott Moir joining us as we talk Olympics and more, and we'll talk about what you're up to now, but you're bringing back so many great memories, and you're bringing back the idea of, what this country means and how you were part of us being able to say, it's okay to say we're Canadian and we want to be the best and we want our athletes to win, and we don't have to be polite and open the door for anybody else, and it's good to celebrate people who are on the top of the podium and all of that stuff that was a part of your careers. You were involved in the My Home is Canada campaign recently. What did that do for you?
Yeah, much like many people, and I'll first say that through COVID-19, my family and loved ones, I'm fortunate. No one has been severely affected. Everyone obviously is being diligent and is at home, but everyone in my family and most of my friends are healthy and safe. And so in that way, it's been fortunate. So I don't mean, because I know that people are going through some real struggles and have lost loved ones and are really at the front line of this. That's not the case for me, but 2020 was a tough year. Me and my fiance Jackie, we postponed our wedding and our future plans a little bit, and we were supposed to be going a little bit back and forth from St. Petersburg, Florida, but we wanted to get back home and back here. She's from Komoka and me from Ilderton, and start our own family here. So there were some challenges that kind of came with that, and that was a little bit challenging. I'm not going to give the woe me the speech, but at the same time, flipping the calendar in 2021, I knew I wanted to do something that was uplifting and to celebrate really what we had. And it kept kind of dawning on me just how fortunate we are to be Canadian and how fortunate we are to have this beautiful, diverse country, and with that's has many different corners. And Tessa and I, touring the country for so many years, were fortunate enough to have friends in all of these different corners and understand that what makes Canada beautiful and strong is our diversity and how everybody comes from different walks of life. And so that's kind of what this was about. And I was very happy to join with Clubhouse, who, as you know, is a huge staple in the London community. I mean, they've been in the community for over 137 years. So when they called me and they asked to do this campaign, which was highlighting what it means for people to be Canadian, you send a picture of being outside in the snow or being up north at the lakes or out in Newfoundland or Victoria, and or just food or being with people. And there was a lot of great Toronto Blue Jays and Olympic memories as well. That was kind of heartwarming. So we just kind of brought those together, and they're going to make a digital montage, and I'm making sure that they give me a hard copy. I want to put it up on my wall here in my office. But it was a very, very simple movement, but very powerful, I think, as well. And for me, I got out and I was kind of like, okay, I better do something. I got to walk the walk here. If I'm finally going to be doing some stuff on social media, I can't just be telling everyone to do it and not do it. So I got out and had a winter fire, and I was like, I better go build the fire and sit by the fire and take these pictures. And then all of a sudden, before I knew it, I was like, oh, this is nice. It's nice to be outdoors. It's nice to be able to enjoy, as I said, what Canada has to offer. So it was really refreshing as well, even though I had kind of started to uplift other people and maybe give them some hope. And even if it's just a little project, I ended up doing the same for myself.
Nice. Scott Moir joining us. Scott, before we close out, what are you up to now? Are you going to the other side, the coaching side of things?
I am indeed. Yeah. So I hadn't really expected to do that, but after our career finished, our 2 years in Montreal training under Marie-France Dubreuil and Patrice Lauzon and Roman Hagenauer were very, very fulfilling for Tessa and I. It was about being the best we could be. We worked with a great corporation in B210 who insulated us with the best professionals, and they challenged us every day to be our best and to go for the gold ruthlessly. And that was fantastic. And but as well, on the ice, our coaching staff challenged us to be better people and challenged us to do sport the right way and to uplift our teammates and be there for each other. And I can say it was the most beautiful sport experience of our life. And there's a lot of great or not so great stories in the media right now about how sport is just done so poorly and people in a position of power taking advantage of athletes. And I can say, fortunately, that wasn't the case for us. And especially at the end, it was the opposite. They really lifted us up and allowed us to live beautiful, fulfilling athletic lives, which have transferred over. So now I'm partnering with that school in Montreal, and we're trying to bring it here to the London area. We're going to bring it here to the London area. They're mentoring us, our coaching staff. We have a bunch of really good coaches. A lot of people watch the Olympic Games. We're fans of Tess and I, and we're seeing more and more boys that are starting to figure skate. And when I saw the amount of young men that were figure skating at the club, it kind of dawned on me that, okay, I guess I better get back in and see how it feels to help them out. And so working, with people who started us skating, my aunt and my mom, and we were able to start the school. And now we are at an Ice Academy in Montreal campus here. Right now we're in Kamoka, and we'll be in and around the city trying to build a world elite ice dance school for people to come. Hopefully, instead of us, like Tess and I always had to train in Detroit, that we were deciding whether to go to Lyon, France, or Moscow, Russia, to our next school, and ended up luckily being able to go to Montreal. So we want to give kids from the greatest skating country in the world, Canada, and from a great skating area in the Southwestern Ontario hub, the opportunity to excel right at home and in the right way. So that's what we're doing with this whole movement. For me, it's very exciting. I didn't know if after a 22-year career, I would wake up excited to go into the arena again. And my feet hit the floor running in the morning. I just can't wait to get there. I'm having so much fun with the kids. And I talked to T the other day, and I think we're going to get her back out on the ice. I mean, she's busy taking over the world and crushing it. But, her genius, she needs to bring that to the world of figure skating. I haven't worked with anybody still yet to this day that's quite like Tessa. So that's the point of the whole project. I've got a lot of work to do, Mike, if I'm going to get there. But I'm lucky that I have a good team around us.
Well, that's fantastic. Scott, this has been great catching up. Congratulations on everything that you are doing. And like you say, 2021, yeah, it's off to a different feel, and it's going to get a whole lot better. So, again, thanks for the time, Scott. Keep yourself safe. Say hi to your family, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, thank you. Same to you. I'm hoping we'll get to see you at a Knights game here coming up.
Let's hope so. Come up and say hi.
I will for
sure. All right. Take care.
Bye, Mike.
That is Scott Moir.